Lesson 12.4 is find trig ratio given another. Number 1 says, given that cosine of an angle equals 12/13 and that angle theta terminates in quadrant 4, then what is the value of sine of theta? So let's sketch a little coordinate plane here, and it tells us that the terminal side is in quadrant 4. So that means I've got some kind of ray right here. That means my triangle is going to be formed like this. Cosine from this angle. Remember, cosine, ca is adjacent to hypotenuse. So this must be the adjacent leg. This must be the hypotenuse. So adjacent to this angle would be here. It's going to be 12. Hypotenuse is across from the 90. That's the 13. I don't know if I'll need this side or not. Let's look. It says find the value of sine of theta. So our whole goal is to get a fraction for the sine from this angle. Remember, sine is so, we need opposite over hypotenuse. From this angle, I don't have the opposite side, but I could find it using Pythagorean theorem. So I would have 12 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. So I'm going to subtract the 12 squared. That's 25. Square root that, so the opposite side is really 5. So I would make a ratio of 5 to 13. But since I'm on a coordinate plane, the signs can change. 12 was positive because x is positive as it goes to the right, but this 5 needs to be negative because it's going down. Hypotenuse is always positive, partly because this is like the radius of a circle, but also in Pythagorean theorem, squaring a negative always gets a positive. So this changes my sine ratio into a negative 5/13. All right, number 2, we are given a sine ratio. That angle is going to be in quadrant 2. So something like that, but I'm going to drop down a leg to make this my reference triangle. They're going to want the value of tangent. So first let's think about the sine. Sine is so, it's opposite over hypotenuse. So the 63 is the opposite leg, 65 is the hypotenuse from this angle. So it'd be 63, 65. Okay, and so then I want tangent from that angle, which is opposite TOA over adjacent. I have the opposite, so I already know that's 63. I just don't know what the adjacent leg is, but I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem to find it. So to simplify this, surely we can do this faster. It's 65 squared minus 63 squared, and square root that, 16. But again, think about where we're at on the coordinate plane. This would be a negative x value, whereas this is a positive y value. So this would make negative 63 over 16. Really, I would float the negative up, but it doesn't matter where you put it. And that's it. Just be aware of how your signs change depending on the quadrant.